going to need lots of coffee today. I've had don't normally suffer from jet lag, but since I've been here, I've been waking up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and then not being able to get back to sleep. Welcome back to the channel. This is day 3 of quarantine. As you're probably aware, I'm in Seoul in South Korea. I'm going to be here for 3 months and I'm currently in a government quarantine facility. So I thought today I would go through my experience with the trip to here and the various stages through the airport procedure. If you are thinking about doing this, then that's definitely worth knowing before you get here. Okay, in relation to South Korea, you are allowed to travel here at the minute. And if you're from the UK or the US, you do not need a visa. You're allowed to stay here for up to 90 days, visa free. When you arrive at the airport, they will go through the current rules for travelling to Korea, and one of them is you have to agree to quarantine at the quarantine facility, and it's got to be at your own expense. If you're not willing to pay for it, then they ain't going to let you fly. It's as simple as that. So I booked my flight a few months ago with Etihad Airlines. Now their stipulation at the minute is, for Etihad, you do have to get a negative COVID test within 96 hours of flying. So to sort the COVID test, I went through the Etihad Airlines site. They have a company called Pure Health. You then click a link and it takes you through to Boots in Manchester, which is like the closest place to where I could get the test done. So I booked the test to go last Thursday. You book your time slot, and when you book it on the Boots site, you basically need the registration number from the Pure Health. So you put the registration number in, and that just confirms that you've paid for it and all that sort of stuff. You book your slot. I went to Manchester. I was in there like 10 minutes. They do the PCR test. Basically, if you go with them, you're guaranteed to get your result back within 48 hours. You do have to make sure that you print it off. They don't accept any screenshots when you get to the airport. You have to show that on check-in, or else you're not getting on the plane. And obviously, it's got to be negative. If it comes back positive, your trip's finished. What I would do before flying is obviously check your own government website in relation to travel. You do need to keep checking it because all this stuff is just constantly changing, sometimes on a daily basis. So anyway, airport mask, you've got to have a mask on. And pretty much as soon as you step in the airport, you've got your mask on, and that's going to be it until you get to your destination. You are allowed to take your mask off to eat. They just say that keep your mask on while you're being served, and then once you've been served and the attendants have gone past, then take your mask off and you can eat. What I would suggest is if you're going on a long haul flight, I would probably get some form of mask that can attach at the back of your head than having the hoops around your ears, because I mean I must have had that mask on probably close to 24 hours, and by the time I got to air, I mean my ears were pretty sore. On the plane just before we landed, we were given five different forms, and there's a lot of duplication on there, but there was like health declarations, there was customs forms, there was a visa arrival paperwork, and then the first bit is you go through and it's the sensors, the heat sensors that obviously check in to see if you've got a temperature. You sort of go through there to a desk, and then there's a girl there, and then there's all these staff, and I think the military, but they're all in PPE and they're all masked up, full suits on the whole lot. And the first one is they take your temperature again, and it's in the ear. And then you go to the next stage, and the next stage is it's some QR codes. You've got to download an app from Google or from if your Apple iOS store, and it's like a quarantine app where basically you put in your details and it tracks you. You need to record your temperature and all that sort of stuff on there. Um, it's like probably the opposite of the the track and trace UK one in the fact that it actually probably works. There's members of staff coming up to you helping you out while you're doing it. Then you go to your first desk, and he checks your passport, and he checks this app's all downloaded properly, and you've got the various notifications set up on your phone so that it's all totally working. They're happy that you've got it on your phone. From there, you go to I went round to a desk another 20 feet away, and pretty much exactly the same thing again. Check the passport, check the paperwork, check the app, but this time they wanted a Korean phone number. Now, if you didn't have a Korean phone number, which I didn't, you needed to have a contact. Now, there's a couple of people that I could contact, and one of them was the guy being in touch in relation to the Airbnb that I was going to be stopping for over Christmas, and he was happy for me to give his number out. Now, you definitely need to get this sorted before you arrive, because when they ring, they will ring your contact up while you're sat there, and you don't get to move on to the next stage until somebody answers the phone and basically confirms that you're going to be stopping somewhere. My guy answered the phone, and there was obviously a conversation in Korean, and I was allowed to go to the next stage, which is the immigration bit, which is like your standard. You go to the box and take fingerprints. They took a photograph. They check your passport. They check your visa, entry card. Obviously, they say about the quarantine, and then they give you basically a lanyard with like a red disc on it, which I presume was you going to the quarantine facility. And then so I went from there straight down to another immigration thing, literally 20 feet away, and just exactly the same thing happened again, which was bizarre. Fingerprints again, photograph again, checked your passport, complete duplication. I'm not really sure what happened there, whether there's some confusion and I just got directed to another thing by one of the members of staff that had not realised I'd already been to that. I'm not too sure, but I ended up going to 2 lots of like visa control. Anyway, once you're through that, you can then go downstairs and you can collect your bag from the baggage claim as you would normally do. I mean, my bag was on the ground already because you're taking a bit of time to get to that stage because you're sort of queuing along the way. But anyway, I got my bags, and then you go through customs, and there's another desk, and obviously they check your passport again, they check your thing, and they check that you've got your red card. Some had yellow, like these sort of passes, which I wasn't totally sure what the yellow ones were. They clearly weren't going to the government facility, I don't think. I think it was only the red ones were going there. So anyway, they put us into another holding area, so we stayed there for like 15-20 minutes, then we got collected by somebody else, then taken to another area which was manned by the police. They checked your passport again. Obviously they then removed your pass. They wanted to know which airports you'd come from, and then you were put into another holding area. And all the way, all the time, all these people, like, majority of them were in full PPE, but they were all really nice, really friendly. The fact that they're having to work in these conditions of wearing all this stuff, and then you've got travellers coming through that have been travelling for 24 hours that are pretty tired at that stage, and literally, you know what it's like when you're being on a long haul flight, you just want to get to your accommodation and just crash out. Well, they weren't like losing the patience with people, really friendly, really helpful. We were then taken to the coach, then we had like a sort of 25-minute coach ride to the hotel, and then taken into another room where there's a lot of tables and stuff, and we had 2 more forms to fill out, another health declaration, another thing about allergies and any food allergies and all that sort of stuff. And then you had to download another app. And the strange bit was, the app that you'd already downloaded, they told you to delete that app and upload this other app, which I found a little bit strange because we spent so much time messing about with that other app, and then all of a sudden we're just deleting it, loading a different app, like a self-screening app. So you download that. You then queue up. Once you've done all that, you then queue up again. You go to the first desk, and this is where they check your Korean contact number again. They put it into a computer. They don't ring them this time. They check your payment method, the payment method for the facility. They do all that. Then you move to the next. Then you move to a table next to that, and then this is where they go through the health questionnaire. They take your temperature again, and they go through meal requirements. Obviously, told them I was vegan and all this lot, so they made a note of that. And room number. Then they gave me the key, the room key. Moved round the corner to another place. They then photocopied your passport and your payment card, and then another guy then put your card in the payment thing, and then once that came through, that was the last stage. So that is, I don't know, 12, maybe more stages, and by this time it probably took from landing to that point 2.5 hours. Now I've seen a few videos online and a few people talking about it, and some people took 5 to 6 hours to get to that stage. Sometimes they were sat on the coach outside for hours, queuing back at the airport. I think we were pretty lucky, to be honest. I mean, 2.5 hours, and that was going pretty much very small queues, just going from station to station. And then the last one, once you got your keys, you're directed to the lift, and everywhere else is sealed off. And you go up in your lift, and then you go to your room, and you go inside and shut the door, and that is it. Your 14 days starts from the next day. Okay, so when you get in your room, you shut your door, and then the only time you can open your door is when they say there's an intercom system, and they say your meal's delivered, it's outside your door, you can go and get it, and you gotta literally open your door, you grab your food, and then you gotta go back and shut your door. Inside there's a bag. They leave you this bag, like a goodie bag, and there's some paperwork with all the rules, basically emphasising the fact that this is a quarantine facility, it's not a hotel, so there's no sort of room service, there's no all the food is made away from the hotel and it's brought here. All the bedding that you have, you don't get any replacement bedding, it stays in here for 2 weeks, and at the end of the 2 weeks it just gets destroyed. You get 5 towels, which are basically also going to have to last you for the quarantine. They don't get replaced. So anyway, so you get this bag, and in this bag you get some masks. Sometimes you have to wear a mask when they come to your door. There's a digital thermometer to take your temperature, which you have to do once a day, and then that gets recorded in the app on your phone that you've downloaded. However, I've not used that yet because every afternoon there's a Korean girl that comes to your door. You go to the door and she takes your temperature, and then she shows you what it is, and then you can just type that down into the app. Some coffee, drip coffee. I bought a lot of this stuff with me because I wasn't sure what was going to get here. They give you 5 in the bag initially, but you can just ask for more. Same with the green tea. If you want to stock up, you just have to call them before your meal gets delivered, I think an hour before, and they'll make sure that they'll drop some more coffee off. You get a toothbrush, some toothpaste, and then you get your waste bags, and there's a bag for every day. So with a biohazard symbol on. All your rubbish has to go into these, and it has to be sealed correctly, and then you leave this outside your room after lunch, and it gets collected. The first day, Korean lady in full PPE came to the room to do a COVID test, PCR test. I've not had the result back from that, but I'm guessing that if you don't hear anything, it's fine. I think if you do test positive while you're here, you get shipped out to another facility, a hospital or something similar. You get 3 meals a day delivered to your door. They shout over the tannoy when your food's there, and that's the only point you're allowed to open your door and grab it. It's literally just outside your door on a little table. Well, I've been waffling on quite a bit on this one. I just wanted to go through the full procedure so that everybody's fully aware of it. I don't think I've covered the price now. In UK money, £1,150 for the full thing, and that includes everything. Yeah, I mean it's quite a bit, but that's including all your meals, the tests, the COVID tests. If you stopped in a 4-star hotel and had all your meals there for 14 days, I mean that's going to cost you a fair few quid anyway. So it is what it is. A lot of people probably wouldn't pay that. For me, I'm going to be here for another 2.5 months after this. So for me, it was just a small price to pay to be able to travel around Korea, which I've always wanted to do. I don't want to come to somebody else's country and put those people at risk, the Korean people at risk. But the Korean government here have set up a system that allows me to come here and do all the quarantine and do all the tests and all the necessary stuff, that when I go out of here I'm not a risk to those people. But in the meantime, I can then put some money back into the economy. I can stop at some Airbnbs, I can stop at some hotels, and I can allow them to run their businesses. And probably like this hotel here that they're using for the facility, this hotel is probably is getting money as a result of what you're paying. If you do want to see what's happening and you're interested in the quarantine, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notifications bell so that you're notified when I upload. Hit the like button. If you've got any questions, drop it in the comments box. If you're looking at doing this and I've not covered something that you want to know about, just ask me, it's fine. And yeah, that is gonna be it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.